willing to truly look at this and truly acknowledge that this is a myth. But President Obama knew it, and that's one of the reasons that he, in a puzzling way to so many, had a moderate approach to his policies. He wasn't able, as so many on the left have desired him to do, he wasn't able to steamroll anybody. He understood that doing so would have been very counterproductive and self-destructive. So in 2010, what did you see? You saw in 2010 the rise of the right-wing Tea Party, and you saw the Democrats lose control of the House and barely control the majority in the Senate. But at least the illusion of presidential control of the Congress was stripped away. And since then, you have seen a gradual erosion of the illusion of Democratic control of the House. And you've seen this very robust rise on the right of a fanatical fringe which continues to polarize the country and paralyze the politics to the place that we are now, where the elections of 2012 are absolutely decisive, absolutely critical as a way for us to hopefully get ourselves out of this stalemate and this paralysis politically that we're in right now. But I wanted to address this current dilemma that we're in as we come to the end of 2011. We've had the tremendous crisis over the budget deficit. We've had the sabotaging of President Obama's economic recovery strategy, and we're still suffering from an economic recovery that is stagnant at best, with 14 million Americans still unemployed, and a sabotage strategy in full swing, and 99% of the American people excluded from true and meaningful power, both in our economy and apparently politically. As we move into potentially the firmer and firmer grip of a would-be plutocracy class in this country, something that would turn America inside out in terms of being the home of the American dream. We really have a very, very dangerous challenge that is facing us right now in this country. The puzzling presidency of Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States. I just want to make a few points to try to illuminate some of the myths surrounding President Obama's approach to his presidency. Number one, I've talked about the illusion of his political power upon his election. That's a myth. He did not control Congress. He did not control the House. He did not control the Senate. And that's why the policies that he was able to get implemented were not the robust versions of healthcare reform or economic recovery that many economists and many advocates of healthcare reform would have preferred to see. But instead of recognizing the kind of perspective from which President Obama saw things, they have criticized and harped and carped as though if he had just been forceful and he had just been more aggressive and more assertive and more hostile to the enemy, that he could have just snapped his fingers and rolled over the opposition. This has been the constant refrain on the left because of their frustration with the increasingly aggressive behavior politically of the right wing, the Tea Party. It's also been rather disconcerting to look at the behavior of some of the other groups, single issue groups. You've looked at the belligerence at times of the gay rights movement who have pressured the president to advance the cause of gay rights as though, again, he unilaterally had the power and the ability to just steamroll the Congress on an issue that Republicans have always been resistant strongly to. And in the case of immigration reform, our Hispanic brothers and sisters politically have somehow been under the illusion, have allowed themselves to, some of them remain under the illusion that President Obama somehow, with absolutely no cooperation from the right wing, could simply just impose an immigration reform package even more progressive than that which George Bush Jr. had been open to briefly in his presidency and was forced to back away from. And I've wondered numerous times, where did they think President Obama was going to get the votes? Where was he going to get the votes for a truly well-designed immigration reform package? You think Senator McConnell was going to vote for it? Did he think that Republicans on the Tea Party was going to vote for it? President Obama, my brothers and sisters from the Hispanic caucus, he hasn't even been able to pass a New American Jobs Act. He hasn't been able to reduce the unemployment numbers significantly. He wasn't even able to create a